Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Is the program based out of Lexington, that being Kentucky. This sums it up. Oscar Tshiebwe, Chris Livingston staying in the draft. Antonio Reeves, a sharpshooter, pulling out, but he's not yet committed to a return to Kentucky. So John Calipari will wake up in the morning with 7 scholarship players, 8 gone, 1 not totally sure. TL, I'm going to go to you first. How concerning is this for UK?
Hey, look, it's a highly touted recruiting class. It's not one of the stronger recruiting classes in the last 20 years. I think that's one thing going into next year. Sure, they're going to get a lot of tout. They're going to be a lot of people talking about them, but these freshmen are freshmen in the truest sense of the word, freshmen. I mean, this is not somebody like Paolo Banchero coming in and being 250 pounds out of the gate. DJ Wagner, good player, very slender, $165. Dillingham might be 145 pounds soaking wet. And even though Justin Edwards is really, really talented, he's also very much a freshman. And keep in mind, too, COVID year's still there. It's going to be tough sledding for these guys for a while until they figure it out. Now, talent's there. All that's great and good, but they're going to get beat up a little bit, especially in the early part of the season. If I was Oscar, I'm not really sure what the end goal is. Like they've set up ways for him to get paid.
I think he had just had it, Tio. He made more money last year than he ever could have imagined. Yeah. Last year didn't go that well. I mean, remember, he was benched at times last season.
Yeah.
He was benched at times. And this is a dude that, like, honestly, kind of got the Kentucky Big Blue Nation back, right? Excited again for everything he gave. And nobody saw that coming when he transferred from West Virginia.
Right.
Obviously, they lose to St. Peter's. That put kind of a stain on that year. But I think he was ready. I think he was just ready. And the money didn't matter as much as just, I'm ready to move on.
Yep. And is he an NBA player? I don't think so. I thought he had a hard time at the combine. This is a guy that's going to go over and hopefully be like Joey Dorsey playing for Olympiacos or Fenerbahce or something like that. He can do that. I think the NBA is just going to be a little bit too difficult for him because he's no longer the biggest kid on the block.
Yeah, but here's the big question, Jeff. John Calipari wakes up on June 1st and has 7 players. How concerned are you about this with Kentucky? How should we view them at the moment? You just put out your updated top 25.
They're 25th, and I was being
Laughable. That's laughable, Goodman.
They should be 50th. You're right. They should be 50th right now.
You caved.
How young they are in today's
you caved to the public pressure. You got scared of Big Blue Nation. Just admit it.
No, I put him at 25. Honestly,
he was too busy trying to figure out where he was going to put Arizona, so he forgot about Kentucky.
I wanted to put Arizona out, but I couldn't come up with 23 better teams than Arizona, even with Caleb Love.
We'll get to them later.
Anyway, let's get to Kentucky.
Yes.
You don't win young. Like, we know this by now. And I remember having a conversation with Cal, the first conversation we had in about 12 years, about a year and a half ago. And I said to him, it was when he had Oscar coming in. Was that 2 years ago? Oscar coming in. And I said, if this works, CJ Frederick was in then, he was healthy. If this works, will you go with this kind of deal with transfers? And he was like, well, I got to see. I'm not committing to it yet. And I just don't understand, like, how tone deaf you've got to be not to understand what's going to happen. You went 0 for 3 today. Now, I know Reeves pulled out, but there's a lot of sentiment growing right now that Antonio Reeves is not going to play in Lexington, Kentucky. There's still a chance, but a lot of people think he's going to transfer. He's going to try to grad transfer. So your team right now is 2 holdovers that I don't even know who the hell they are because they never played, and 5 freshmen that, frankly, as Tio said, is to me somewhat of a flawed freshman class because, again, I love Edwards and Bradshaw. I've said it over and over and over again, and people will get tired of hearing it. I don't think Wagner and Dillingham are great together. I just think they're 2 ball dominant, high volume, low efficiency guards. Reed Shepherd, I don't know how much he plays. Got to play, I guess now. Got to play.
Honestly,
play.
The fit to me doesn't really matter at this point, right? If you go back and look at the last 2 years, the average is right about 20 top 100 freshmen averaging 10 points a game in college basketball, right about 12 top 25 freshmen averaging double figures. If you look at transfers of the top 100 transfers, you get about 60 to 65 of them the last 2 years that have averaged double figures. Transfers, getting old, that's the way to go in the COVID era, where you can go get a 23-year-old as opposed to getting a 19-year-old in a class that is not that good. Like, Tio, you made the perfect point, and this is all you need to understand about this situation, right? You got one of the best recruiting classes in the country coming in. If you took any of those guys, any of those players coming in, DJ Wagner, Robert Dillingham, Reed Shepard, Justin Edwards, Aaron Bradshaw, would any of them be better than any of the three freshmen that Duke had coming in Zion's year? Would you take any of them over Zion, Trey Jones, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett? Because I don't think that I would. Would you take any of them over the guys that they had Paolo Banchero's year, Mark Williams, any of those guys? It's just not the same. Not all 5-star recruits are built the same. And I think in an era where everybody is trying to get older, where success has proven to come from getting older players. Look who just won the national title, junior Andre Jackson. You got a junior in Adama Sanogo. Your 5-star freshman, Donovan Clingan, came off the bench, right? Alex Caravan, role guy, freshman that came in a year early. He was 20 years old. Getting older is what you're trying to do in college basketball. And Kentucky has gotten younger and leaned all the way into it and lost all their veterans. Like, I just, how is this going to work? I'm very concerned about it.
Yeah, devil's advocate on the 2 ball dominant guards. He's done that before with John Wall and Eric Bledsoe. Like, he's had those things before. That these are not physically mature guards. That's my biggest concern. They're very, very talented. Let's not let that get away. They're very, very good, but they are very physically immature compared to some of these other guys they've had to pass. And to be honest with you, all those players that you referenced from Duke and all these other places.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's Field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.
But hypothetically speaking here, and then we'll get to our next topic. Like, hypothetically speaking, if this goes down the pathway that it looks like it could go down, which is not good for Kentucky, let's just say they're living life on the bubble. They find a way to make the NCAA tournament. They flame out again. At a certain point, do you not sit here and say, like, this is the definition of insanity. This is Kentucky basketball. We're not going anywhere. We haven't made a second week of an NCAA tournament in a half decade. The standards here are better than that. Enough is enough.
Fanta, how many times are you going to try to fire John Calipari? I think this is like the third straight off season where you've tried to fire John Calipari. But here's the thing. You're not wrong.
Fire him.
Right? Like you're Kentucky. There should be a certain level of expectation when you are Kentucky. And I don't think that Kentucky has necessarily lived up to that to the last couple of years. I think they haven't. And to me, the thing that I would be the most frustrated about if I was a Kentucky fan is that it's the failure to adapt. to what is working in college basketball right now. We're going to talk about them a little bit later. But Jay Wright, in his last 10 years as head coach, you know how many transfers he brought in? Four. Exactly 4 over the course of 10 years. You know how many Kyle Neptune has brought in this
23
offseason?
24.
He's brought in 4 this offseason.
All of them.
It's the failure to adapt to what is working in college basketball right now. It's the failure to adapt to the way that teams are playing.
Adapt or die, Rob.
Adapt or die. Like you play. There were too many times where they rolled out lineups with Severe Wheeler at the point, Lance Ware at the 5, and Oscar Tshiebwe at the 4, with Chris Livingston playing the 3, and your offense doesn't work, and you're shocked that it's not working. Like, you got 17 guys on the floor. They can't.
Didn't we all say this last year in the preseason? Didn't we all know this? I mean, we all knew Toppin, Oscar, Wheeler, if you put them out on the floor together, that shit wasn't going to work. All right. I have one thing to drop here too. Go ahead. I talked to a source in the last 48 hours, and there's some injury concern also with Aaron Bradshaw in his foot. Okay. Oh. So beyond the fact that you've only got 7 dudes, and I think Aaron Bradshaw is probably your highest upside guy and maybe your most important player in a way, because of his length, his athleticism, and his size up front. I think he's a 4-man. I don't know. He probably wants to play the 3. He'll probably end up playing a lot of 5 out of necessity right now. But whatever the case, he's super ultra talented, and there's definitely some concern, I'm told, in that Kentucky camp about Aaron Bradshaw and his foot injury.
That's worrisome, especially when there's a big hole in the middle now.
Yes.
And here's the thing: he doesn't want to be down there anyway, which doesn't help when you have foot problems and you're getting stepped on in the SEC. That doesn't help. So a lot of concern there. But there are still options in the portal. I would be shocked if there's not 2.
Well, we'll go through them at the end of the show. There's not as many as you think, and honestly, you're making up ground with a few of these dudes. Now you can do it if you offer enough NIL. You can make up ground quickly. That's the one benefit these days. But there's not that many impact dudes. And the thing is, like Arthur Kaluma, he obviously withdrew today. Creighton transfer. Kentucky's on his list. I put out there among 3 or 4 other schools. Well, Kaluma doesn't really fit what Kentucky needs. Only an experience.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.